welcome back to the third episode of the For Fun Cast Let's Survive Minecraft series. Today we're going to be getting Tinker's Construct up and running for the most part. As you can see, I was able to get my house built up, and I was also able to go mining for ores and other essential bits that I have been seriously lacking. I've also been able to find some food, which is a good thing because, starving to death is not fun. Now, Tinker's Construct allows you to create weapons and tools and customize them in a way that is similar to enchanting, but instead of having to use enchanting levels, you're able to use other materials from Minecraft to add enhancements to each of your tools or weapons. Now, the upper area of my house here is going to be where I do a lot of the primary work with Tinker's Construct. And there are 5 essential bits that you need in order to get Tinker's Constructs going in the first place. You need stencils, which is how you make the patterns for each of the tool parts. You need a part builder, which takes the pattern that you create and then uses whatever material you choose to use to create the item. So, first step is to create patterns. And the way you do that is by taking sticks and those things, wood planks, and you put them diagonally from one another, your sticks and your wood planks, and you're able to create blank patterns. With the blank patterns, you then can create the various other bits, tool parts that you need. The part builder, as you can see, required a crafting table and a blank pattern. You need a pattern chest, which requires a blank pattern and a regular old chest. You need a stencil table, which is a blank stencil and a block of wood. You need a tool forge eventually once you get your smeltery going, but that requires 4 blocks of iron, and you'll see how difficult that is right now. Next bit, the tool station is a crafting table and a blank pattern. The part builder must be a log then. You're not hearing background sound in my video because when I initially recorded the video, I didn't realize my audio was too loud from the game, so you couldn't hear any of my voiceover. So the voiceover is being recorded separately and with no audio from in the game. This will be fixed for the next video, I promise, much like the video is at full resolution this time. Now, if you put the part builder next to your pattern chest, instead of having to take a pattern separately from the chest, take it to your part builder, you're just able to, when you click on the part builder, to pull the patterns out of the chest and put the pattern where you need to within the part builder. As I said before, you need the stencil table to create the different patterns that are going to be used to create your different tool parts. And that is done by taking a blank pattern and a wood block. I should say wood planks. So now, once you have the stencil table done, you put your blank patterns in it, like that, and as you click next and previous, it will bring you to the next or previous pattern in the set. What I am going to do is I'm going to create one of every piece that is going to be used within Tinker's constructs. Some of you will not use the frying pan, some of you won't use the sign. There's other different sword blades in there as well. Some of you won't use those. I'm just going to use them all, or make them all, just in case I want to, say, beat a sheep up with a frying pan, or beat up a pig with a frying pan, because as you beat the pig up with a frying pan, it actually cooks the pork, so when you kill it, it drops cooked pork chops instead of you having to take that extra step to go out and have to cook it. Okay, ran out of patterns because I goofed up, made a bunch of duplicates, so I gotta make more blank patterns in order to finish making the patterns necessary to make all the tool parts. Okay, so now that that is done, I need to be able to make grout to start the smeltery. With the smeltery, you are able to melt down ores and create alloys, which are used to create better, stronger tools that you wouldn't normally be able to make. So, it being night, I'm not going to be going outside. So what I will do after I sort my inventory a little bit is go down into my mine here and mine out some gravel, because I know there is gravel down below. Because in order to make grout, you need gravel, sand, and clay. Once you have the gravel, sand, and clay, you put those in your crafting grid in an L-shaped pattern, and it creates the grout, which you then bake in your furnace, which turns it into seared brick, and the seared brick is the basic component you need in order to create the various smeltery pieces. I'm going to make myself a few more basic tools. That way I'm better equipped to do this quickly, because no one wants to watch someone punch through 64 blocks of gravel or sand or anything like that. So tools are kind of necessary to speed up the process. Also, I don't want the nasty comments of, oh, you noob, you used your sword or your pickaxe or whatever to punch through sand and dirt. And yeah, no, I hate that. Personally, that drives me nuts. So I'm not going to do it to you, viewers. So down we go, back into the pit below the house. Fortunately, I've been lucky enough, nothing's wandered back upstairs yet, which is nice. And if anybody knows what peridot does or is good for, please let me know. I don't feel like looking it up in NEI. It's not that it feels cheaty, it's just that, I'd kind of like to touch base with somebody else instead of using NEI all the time. See me here checking my depth. While I'm also looking for gravel, I'm also very much looking for diamonds. Diamonds will make my life infinitely easier in the long run. I've still not been able to find any, which is more than slightly obnoxious because, you know, we're going on our third episode on the same hand. It only means I've been playing for just over an hour because I am only playing this world either between sessions to get myself to a point where it'll be interesting for you all to watch, or on camera. So I think I spent about 20 minutes building up the house off camera, so as of so far I've only played this world for 80 minutes. Roughly. So digging through the dark for gravel because I have no torches. Poor planning on my part. But that's okay because I need the coal that I have left in order to make grout. Or bake off the grout for seared brick. And then I also need to find lava. Because that's what powers the smeltery, is lava. And as of so far, I haven't seen a single lava pit anywhere. I don't know if there's one anywhere near me or not. Get all this gravel dug up. As you can see there, I found some gold, which is a good thing. As I believe I was explaining earlier, you can make metal tools with tinkers. In order to do that, you have to make a cast of an existing tool part, and the only way you can make casts to pour other metals and alloys into is by using gold. And the way you do that is you create a wood or a stone piece, put it in a casting table, and once you have you pour the liquid or smelted gold into the casting table around the tool part you've placed there. And what it does when the gold cools and hardens, creates a cast of the tool piece that needs to be created, which you can then reuse to create your various metal tool pieces. Or I should say parts, to be completely accurate. And here I am trying to get out of the hole. Oh, there we go. I know, I need to build stairs down here, that way I don't have to jump and waste hunger and take forever trying to get back up. On the same hand, I could just edit me coming back up the stairs out. Or I could just dig a shaft straight down with some ladders and make it easier that way too. Except I don't want to quite do that. It's going to be bad enough my smeltery is going to wind up down here on the first floor. So you can see it's day. At this point I'm going to go dig up some sand because there's plenty of it. The tricky part, or potentially tricky part, will be finding clay, because as anybody who's played Minecraft knows, when you need clay, it is almost impossible to find. So what I'm going to do is get myself about a stack of sand here, and then go in search of some clay. As you can see, I was lucky enough to find some clay right off. Maybe karma felt like being nice after this horribly wretched start in the previous 2 episodes. I can only hope. I've got just over a stack of each, which is good, at least good enough to start with. Probably have to go get more in order to really get my smeltery going. But what I can do now, as I said before, is that you take the sand, the gravel, and the clay, and you arrange it in a slight L shape in the crafting grid, and it gets turned into grout, which you then put into your furnace to bake into seared brick. It doesn't actually matter which way it converts or you put in the grid. As long as it's in that L shape, life's good. And it creates the grout on a 2-to-1 basis. So for every 1 block of sand, gravel, or clay you use, or ball of clay you use, it creates 2 blocks of grout. So for 64, you get 128 blocks of grout, which will then cook into 128 seared bricks. So what I'm going to do here is make myself a second furnace so I can get all of my grout done at once, and at least make some of the basic components I need to make to start the process for creating the smeltery. While that stuff's cooking, I've got a little thing to show you from when I was off camera. This is actually a ravine underneath this mountain. And as you can see, or will be able to see, it is absolutely loaded with necessary materials for building. I will be coming back over here and mining heavily. Only drawback is that it is also completely and totally full of monsters, of which I have to be careful because there are ridges or cliffs up overhead that things are sitting on, and could potentially, if they fall off, either fall on my head or go by and in the process of falling potentially knock me off as well, depending on how they fall. So seared brick from the little bricks is much like you would make stone brick out of baked off stone, is you just put it in that little 4 square and you get your standard old seared brick. As I said before, in order to make your tool forge, you have to have 4 blocks of iron. As you can see, I am sadly short. I have like maybe a total of 12 ingots of iron. So I'm going to have to go mining to get what I need to make this tool forge, because without it I can't make the metal tools. But I still, at this point, I can make most of the basic components I need for the smeltery. Basic component you need is a smeltery controller, which is made much in the same way as a furnace, but instead of cobblestone you use the seared brick in the donut pattern. You also need drains, which allows you to pour the molten metal out of the smeltery into casting basins and tables. And depending on how you want to work your forge, or your smeltery rather, it's good to have 2 to 3 basins. So what we're going to do here is pretty much, I'm going to leave it off, let these bricks finish cooking off, and we'll go over how to create the rest of the parts later on in the next episode. So, yeah, we'll do a quick review of what we've got over this episode as well, and we will pick it up next time. So until then, have a good day.